On Conversations with Channelers, we answer questions that many of our viewers are curious about and share a platform that helps humans connect to spirit. Each channeler has their own unique way to bring through information. I am your host, Heidi Freilich. Welcome to our program. Hello, everyone. Hi, Robin.
Hi, Heidi.
We're here this week. We have an interview with a gentleman who works with channelers, helping them to develop abilities. That's coming a little bit later in the program, but we wanted to get started with a few viewer questions. And also a thank you to everyone that has reached out to us on YouTube. We really appreciate your comments and your questions, and we have a few of them here for you today. So thank you very much for participating. We love hearing from all of you. All right, so let's get started with the first question, and that is, I have noticed a theme of heartbreak and lack running through my ancestry line. How does one go about healing this, or lineage healing in general?
Yes. This is a great observation that she has had about herself, and it is actually one of the main goals or purposes that we have in the arrival to the earth plane. Yes. So her being willing or even wanting to do this is of great service. So we compliment her for that. Yes. So what does a human do? They notice that they have a repetitive or a reoccurring emotion that they are not liking the feel of. And they know that in the feeling of it, that they are the creator of it, the caller of it. This is what is bringing the life to them that they are experiencing. So I can only surmise that perhaps she is getting some things in her experience that she would prefer not to be getting. So how do you really figure this out? Well, the way we describe it, Robin has gone through this process of rising her Kundalini and doing ancestral healing. And don't make any mistake about it. You don't need to necessarily have your Kundalini rising in order to do ancestral healing. Your desire and your intent to do so can also accomplish a great deal. So don't give up on it. If you have not had risen your Kundalini, you can still do this, you see. So what we would say is that when a human is feeling emotions that feel very close to them, that feel as though they are really painful and they are experiencing them themselves, this is generally wounds that have been caused in the life that you're living. And so we can imagine that perhaps she is feeling not connected to this feeling, not understanding where it came from. So as you move through the healing of oneself in your present life, you will gradually move into some perhaps contained past life emotions that you will want to work on next, you see. And then maybe those are a little more distanced than the ones you were having that were really pungent in you, that were yours in the life you were in. And so you'll start to feel a little bit of discomfort, not really liking it, kind of familiar, but not as familiar as the ones that are present day. And so as you gently move yourself through these emotions and you experience them, then you will move into the lineage. And this is what she has asked us the question about. And Robin can answer this one very well because it is something she is practicing or working on every day now. She will go into her room. There will be a tremendous amount of emotion that is released through long, large yawning. Oftentimes her mouth will be held open. She will be feeling as though she is screaming. Sometimes there are some tears, things that will come with it. But the odd part about it, she said, is I, as the human Robin, do not feel anything. I don't feel attached to it. I don't really feel sad or bring it with me out of the room. It kind of runs through my system, and I have this really deep awareness or knowing that this doesn't even belong to me. I'm just doing a favor, yes, to someone else. So this is what we would tell you. So how do you go about doing it? Well, you're having this reoccurring pattern or emotion. You're not really understanding it. You're knowing it has creative value. And so you identify what it is. How do I feel in regard to, say you met a checkout clerk or someone that provoked you in some way and you got really angry, or perhaps you had someone in your family that people were more attentive to and you felt really jealous. And then you started this condemnation or judgment of yourself. And really all your human is doing is showing you what is preventing you from having your full flow or connection. It gives you this little emotion so that you know that what is stored within you is causing you to actually separate a little bit. And as you separate, your conduit shrinks, your chakras condense, sorry, we're saying it wrong. They condense a little bit. And then that full current or that flow that is coming from all that is doesn't have access to you like it would if you were not constricted or stopping that flow from coming in, you see. So now you have the emotion. Now you have recognized it. The clerk got me angry. Here it is. I've got this anger. So now we really want you to know that you you as a human are not going to deny that in yourself, because your human experienced it. It's had many lives. It's living in the life it's lived. It's dealing with its lineage. It's simply responding based upon those things. So you can't really get angry at it. You can't condemn it. You can't make it wrong for the feeling that it has. You have to thank it. You have to say, thank you for letting me know I have anger within me. And now I really want to be happy. I want to be free of it. So now you invite your high part of yourself that's always there, that's waiting, by the way, to be asked to do this healing for you. You ask it to come in and to lift or transmute this energy in you so that you can move into your fullness and connect with it and now get what you have become because of that experience. We promise you, if you're angry, there is a happy part of you waiting to be delivered, but in your anger, you just can't receive it. So this is how you do it. You're not going to do it as a human. You're going to ask your source to do it for you. You're going to know when you ask that immediately you expand because of it. It's an all-inclusive universe. It's not going to take it away. So you have to align to that now in your belief, in your trust, in your knowing. It has happened. It is done. I am it. And now all I need to do is to move into this relaxed, healthy, happy, satisfied. Yes, that's a good term, state. And then I will align to myself and I will receive that high part of myself in that charge of energy that will flow through me. And I will become that which I am wanting to become without doing anything as a human.
Okay, good answer. I like that one. Okay, next question. This one is, as humanity is moving closer to 4D than 5D consciousness, what would be important? I'm sorry, I'm reading this wrong. I think it actually has a typo. What would be the importance of matriarchy and how it actually helps the males in society? Will we be moving toward a more matriarchy-led society? And how does that look like on a micro scale in terms of household, mom, dad, children? How does the structure and roles look like? What part do we each play?
As you are moving, the question was, as you are moving from the 4D to the 5D level, what is everyone's role going to be, or how is this going to be forming? Is that the question?
Yeah, and are we moving to what's the importance of the matriarchy? And are we moving towards a more matriarchal society? I think she's curious about.
In matriarchal, would we be referring to as a woman led, or
I believe so, yes.
yes, or more to the divine feminine? This is what she's
Yes.
referring to. Yes, yes. So what we would say is everyone, it doesn't matter whether you are masculine or feminine, is going through this process of moving themselves from one level of perception. That's what we call different levels of reality, as you would deem them. 4 and 5D are levels of reality, and they are levels of perception. The way that one focuses, the way that one believes and perceives is what will allow them to move to another level of consciousness where things actually exist that at lower levels of consciousness, it's hard for you to imagine or to believe that it's possible that you could actually live without lack, that you could actually live in this elevated state that we have told you. Primarily in the fourth level of consciousness, there's going to be glimpses or moments of that. There it is. I felt it. Yes, for a little while. And then something happens and you go, you're shifting back and forth. So it is this very natural process of rising and then sinking back in, perhaps where there's wounds or healing that is needing to take place before you can fully make that transition into the upper levels of consciousness. And so this is a period of time where we really want you to be patient with yourself, not condemning, not in judgment when you do this, because then you are emanating this judgment and this condemnation, and therefore attracting to yourself something in your experience that would not match what you're really wanting. So it is this real allowing state, this knowing state that this is a natural process. It's as natural as being born. It's as natural as going through puberty. It's as natural as all of it, you see. And so when you finally get this understanding that this is a very natural process that a human is going through, and that there's no real work to be done, there's just expansion in consciousness, in the understanding of how you create the life that you want to, and what is available to you as far as flow, as far as energy level that will enable you to do this. And what the I am presence means that I know what I am. I know that I am a God. I know that I am of the divine. I know that I have this power that I can create. I know that when I emanate, whether I'm doing it unconsciously in my emotive state or whether I am consciously picking and choosing how I feel, both are creative. So this is really what the rise in consciousness is. And then as you get this understanding and as you become aligned to it, then the high part of yourself will actually start to expand you to the point where you will just automatically start choosing in mastery. It won't be so much as being hard, as a human would say it, or I have to train myself into picking the better feeling thought. As you start to do it, have the intention to do it, that intention creates a desire that all that is satisfies. And then you are infused with this help or assistance in order to become the master that you are wanting to become. As far as the matriarchal energy goes, we would tell you that it's a little bit tied into the Kundalini energy in the sense that creation is the divine feminine. And Robin has talked about this before, where the Kundalini sits at the base of the spine. And then as a human in their evolutionary process becomes aware and activated in their awakening state. And why do they get aware? Because she's activating. And during this time, by the way, the elevation in consciousness is causing a stir of that energy, or so more people are becoming activated or receiving, let's use that term, this desire or tendency to really get on a spiritual path, and they cannot really understand why they're so driven to do it. And she's behind it. The Kundalini energy is behind it. And so one can sometimes mistake the divine feminine as being better than or more powerful than the masculine, yes? And then this matriarchal or the energy that she is speaking about, this would be the one that is in charge. This is the one that makes better decisions. This is the one that moves from the heart space. And we're not in denial of the feminine energy, but we would tell you it is the uniting of the male with the female that creates the real power, the transformative power that is actually occurring a little bit in Robin. Her energy is now reaching the crown where the male energy is. So it's really the unification of the divine feminine and the masculine that are really going to create this huge shift or powerful wave that is going to shift humanity into that next level of being. And when we say transformative and in this uniting, the two will become one. So there'll be no more separation or a belief pattern that there is masculine and feminine. It will be united or one thing, if that makes any sense. We hope that we have answered the question in this way, because we know that in the past, there's many teachings and many scriptures that have been written that women were the teachers or the ones that were in charge or over the top of, yes, and then that was taken away from them or somehow retreated from them. And we would tell you that it is a uniting that you are looking for, and what we are looking for in the expansion and growth of all that is, and that is what's coming, you see.
Okay, thank you. And then the last viewer question we have is, why should we work on trying to manifest anything? Doesn't it all just go according to a predetermined plan? Does achieving a high vibration change the plan?
You are a human, yes, and you have agreed or made manifest yourself upon a form planet, a planet of form. And you have a human tool that you are using for the experiences you're having, because you would like to see yourself create in form. You come from pure positive energy. You create worlds, believe it or not. You are from all that is. You are gods, is what you are, yes? And so for you to be able to have this human tool to actually use and to be able to funnel yourself through it, and then to see your creations appear to you in form through your thought forms, is quite a satisfying and expansive, let's use that term, endeavor that you are on, you see. Now, some would say to us, where you are, yes, what are you doing? Are you just sitting around all day? And we would say, we are always forever experiencing, we are of the ability, let's use that term, to visit other planes of existence, to learn, to grow, to expand. The universe is a never-ending, ever-expanding place, and which you are a part of. You are also doing that in expanding and sending your consciousness into your human, and then those that are not in the human or have decided to send themselves multiple places while being in the human, that is also possible, yes? So there is this major expansion going on, but this plane in particular, being a little bit different than some of the other projections or sparks or whatever you want to call them of yourself, you actually want to infuse the divine and have it meet the human. See what the human can do as a divine being is what you really came here to do. So why manifest anything? Because you can, you see, because you can, through your thought, create a joyful, beautiful, wonderful, expansive experience for yourself and for others to view so that they know that they can do it too. That's why you're here. You are here to learn about yourself, to know the self. And in that way, all that is experiencing itself and getting to know itself through you. Yes. So the form thing is a fun thing. It is a form of we hate to call it a game. We wouldn't really call it a game. It is an experience. Let's call it that. It is a human experience that you are having. And form is a big part of that experience.
Okay.
I missed part of the question, Heidi.
Oh, well, let me just look back over it again.
Let us reiterate again, when we are asking questions, we
yes,
look them in,
2 parts is too much. Yes, yes.
Not too many
So
parts.
the second part of that question is, does achieving a higher vibration change the plan?
Yes. Well, as you come to the plane that you are on, you have visited many times, we would tell you. The return to wholeness or the rising in vibration of the entire planet is what is going on. It's what the desire is, to have less of this 3D density and more love and more unity and more ease. Let's use that term. So as a human comes here in their suffering, after a while, when they roll around in it long enough, they can no longer tolerate it. And they decide to rise in their consciousness. They decide to figure out that they can heal that wound, that they can actually remove that experience that either came from the life they lived, a past life, or from their lineage. And then in doing this, they emanate differently and they start to create cleaner, or in a way that is satisfying, let's use that term, to them, with less suffering and more joy and happiness and ease. And that is really the goal that a human has. We are on a journey right now in this plane that you are on to rise in a level of consciousness. And rising in a level of consciousness means that you don't have to create suffering. You can actually create in love and happiness in the high vibratory levels of which you emanate from. You can become an expression of this. And that is really what people are doing when they are healing these ancestry wounds, when they are going through these processes. You are, as one, so much more powerful than what you realize in doing this. So yes, there is a journey back to yourself, we would tell you. And that evolutionary journey is different for every human. However, as there is a quickening upon your planet, more and more are going to reach that conclusion at a rapid rate. So you're having a larger shift or move in that direction. It's what you're experiencing right now. See.
Thank you so much for answering our viewer questions. And we had one additional question, but you needed more clarity. So I'm going to send an email back to that person named Susan, I believe, and we will get that question answered next time. Hello, everyone. We want to welcome Peter Dennis to the program. He's the gentleman I spoke with earlier that was going to be coming on, who works with channelers. And we're excited to talk to you today, Peter. How have you been?
I've been very well, thank you, Heidi, and thank you very much for inviting me today.
Good, awesome. So when did you become interested in working with channelers?
Well, I became interested in channeling back in the 90s. I was introduced to Anne Morris, who was channeling the trance seekers in the Toronto area. So that sort of sparked the interest. But the idea of working with channelers is much more recent than that. It began to happen about, actually, almost 5 years ago. I was working as a part-time hypnotherapist, and I found some of my clients, 3 or 4 of them, started to report past lives on other planets. And, I thought this was really bizarre, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. So I asked a number of my clients who would be willing, and who I didn't think would get too spooked out by it, to come back for further research. And the first one that came back was Karen Ashby, and she went into the routine of past life regression and started to report that she was in a spaceship monitoring Earth. And the conversation began to change a little bit. It became plural, we. And at some point, it kind of triggered in my mind that, and I think I said something like, "We're channeling, aren't we?" And the answer was, yes, we are. and it turned out to be the Palladians. And we had a good conversation, and we followed up, and that was in July of 2018. And for the balance of that year, 4 others joined. And since then, the number is up to 72 that I've worked with who were all channeling.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
So Robin, you and Peter have worked together, or, had interviewed together. Why don't you let us know how you met Peter and what your experience was?
Well, I was really new to channeling. I had this phenomena occur. And so I was really looking for a resource or someone that understood it or that could offer me some support in acclimating to what was going on. So I didn't really use Peter as a facilitator. It was more as a resource. And he helped me with a number of things in the beginning when I was just getting started. So I would say that was kind of the basis of our relationship. Wouldn't you say that, Peter?
Yes, absolutely. And to clarify my earlier comment, of the 72 that I've worked with, 12, I think now have actually been, like Robin, channeling already when I met them. And the other 60, I guess it is, they were new to it.
Okay. So what specifically do you do that might assist someone that is either wanting to be a channeler or experiencing things like channeling?
Yeah. Well, Robin can perhaps attest that it's pretty necessary to be able to relax and allow.
Okay.
And as a hypnotherapist, when somebody is in hypnosis, they generally are quite relaxed. And so that sets the stage. And I guess there are other indications of people who are ready to channel. And if they are in that state of relaxation, usually a being will come through.
Okay. Yeah. So, is it common that you see a certain trait or a certain theme when you're working with these people that are either channeling or wanting to become channelers? Is there a common thread that you see from person to person?
Yeah, I guess, first of all, just wanting to channel is pretty common among
Right.
those people, and not very many others. But they're generally, I would say, or you might say, on a spiritual path. They've been maybe reading metaphysical books, always interested in extraterrestrials or beyond, and maybe a little more awakened to ideas such as we are all one, or connected. They may be aware of spirit guides, angels. Some see things that many of us don't, auras and light bodies and that sort of thing. And I guess, there's quite a variety of backgrounds and interests. But, some it's been a long time thing, like Robin, I think, reports that, she's been interested in metaphysical stuff for years. And I have too, as a kid, reading things. Edgar Casey and Lobsang Rampa and stuff like that. Yep. So, but I would say, in summary, really, they're kind of on a spiritual path looking for growth in that area.
Sure. I think Athena could probably comment on this a little bit too, Heidi. So I'll just let her. There are many things that will draw a human into the channeling ability. And we hear what Peter has said, that many of them are on a spiritual path, and perhaps many of them have pursued it in prior lifetimes, and it is part of the desire that is within them. And so they are satisfying it, maybe in the life they are in. But there are those, we would tell you, that will come in unknowingly of nothing and begin to channel. So we can kind of blow up the idea that there has to be a background or a belief system in place, or even a desire, for that matter, that a human is aware of. That is not to say that it is not a creative value that is within them or in the lineage that they are not aware of, that would precipitate something to occur within them, you see. So it is a difficult thing to project or to detect or to know. Oftentimes, a human may be coming to Peter because they have trouble with their belief, and then they have someone who has done the work that he has done. He can confirm to them, in fact, that these people have remembered past lives. He can confirm to them some things that perhaps that they were a little shaky in, because belief has a lot to do with the manifestation of something that a human is wanting to create. The way that they perceive what it is they believe is how they are able to draw to themselves the experience they are having, you see. And although in our case, Robin did enjoy the journey or the metaphysical journey that she was on, in her position or situation, what really activated her spiritually was the Kundalini energy. It was what created the desire. And she was watching channelers. She was interested in them and all of the metaphysical principles that are being discussed here today. But why was she interested in them primarily? And we want to say that this consciousness is actually what stirs or creates a human's spiritual quest or search of themselves. You see, that's what actually occurs. So whether these humans that are coming to Peter are having a little bit of a stirring, it may not be a full activation. It may be something in them that is starting to awaken or take a look around. But it is to know that behind this, there is always that consciousness or that energy that is giving a human a little bit of a push or a shove in the direction. And then they will say, oh, I found Peter. No offense, Peter. Yes. Oh, I found this tool, this divination tool that I'm using. Oh, I got this meditation and it woke me up. I started breath work and it activated me. And we would say all of those are tools or things that you put your trust and your love in and your belief in and your perception in, and therefore it yielded you a result that you were happy with, you see. So we're not going to say that none of these tools are useful. They all are. They're all breadcrumbs on the trail. But the most useful tool of all is you and your desire of it, you see.
Mm-hmm. Before we move back to Peter, I have a question just that a little bit along the lines that we were just discussing. Is there any truth to someone, like I remember years ago speaking with the channeler and them explaining how some people choose to come into this life with the ability to connect, whether it be channeling or mediumship or whatever it might be. Is that accurate? Would you say that's accurate, that some people have that as part of their life plan? And are also then there those that just spontaneously choose it when they're here?
Are you asking us or Peter?
I'm asking you. Yes.
Ladies first.
What we would tell you is, Heidi, that every human comes to the evolution of themselves or their soul at some point in their journey. And so that would mean that they will come into full connection with that which they are, with this high aspect of themselves, you see. And in that connection, no other group or channel is really needed, because all of the information that a human is wanting to achieve is already in them, in the recognition of the I am presence. I am this thing. I am this source. I am this God. I am worthy. And in the connection of the human to the high part of itself, they will gain the wisdom and the knowledge that they are looking for, you see. So when will it happen? Well, it's different for every human. It's different because of the lineage. It's different because of the lives they've lived. It's different because of the life that they're living. But as they come to this reckoning point, to this point of wanting to awaken and to discover themselves as the powerful creator that they are, then this will be when these wounds are coming up and being healed. It will be the recognition of the things that are separating you. What's separating you? The angst, the betrayal, the heartbreak, the sadness, the worry, the not enoughness. All of the things that a human is containing within the container of them are what are preventing this flow or constricting the energy centers from receiving that which they are, which is available to them, which is standing next to them and wants to enter, but there's no room or place for it to flow, you see. So a human will get on this spiritual journey, not really always knowing what it is, but this is what it is. They're trying to make room for access to what belongs to them, what is them, and they will do it through the experiences that they are having that are revealed to them in the practices that they are choosing to reveal them to themselves, you see.
Mm-hmm. But like from the perspective of like what Robin does, channeling, you and your mission to come to assist others. Obviously for them to find it within themselves so that they can connect to their high self and they can access this information for themselves. But for someone specifically like Robin, is this something that she would have arranged prior to coming into life, or is this something that she created while in this human experience?
What is arranging prior to a life? It's based upon how the human has emanated, how it is it is thought, how it is it has felt, you see. And no one in the present life, not many, we would say, can really remember what that was or have recall of it, you see. And so it may seem as though a human agreed that they are going to reveal this gift, as you humans would call it, in the life that they are living. But perhaps they just reached the right emoting time, the right thinking time in the past life that they had that made it enter with them in the present life they are living, you see. So would you call this an agreement or would you call it a creation? We would call it a creation.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah. Peter, do you believe that anyone has the ability to channel, even if it is just their high self? Is that your belief?
Well, almost anyone, barring certain handicaps and such. Yes, I think the ability is there, but perhaps the better question might be, are they ready to channel? And in my experience, there's been a number of individuals who just had to go through some clearing and, get out some of the past trauma and things like that to kind of set the stage so they could channel. But yes, I guess is a short answer.
Okay. So if you are someone that is experiencing kind of some strange things like body movements or voices in your head or any of the number of things that people that are channelers or mediums experience, what would you recommend or guide them to doing to help them facilitate moving forward into this?
I'd probably suggest they contact Robin and get Athena to tell them what's going on.
What could you do that would be assistive as well, though?
Yeah, well, certainly I would have a number of questions for them.
Yep.
And, I guess certain patterns might emerge from that that would tell me that, this is a likely candidate. It might tell me that, no, there's some clearing that needs to be done first. But I do suggest quite often in circumstances like that, that they see a channeler or maybe attend one of our Sunday free events and ask a question. Just see if there's anything blocking their ability to channel.
Okay. How do you see, from the people that you worked with, how do you see most of the channelers using their abilities? In what avenues or formats?
Yeah, it's really all over the map. Of the 72 channelers that I've worked with, there's 22 or 3 of them, I think, who have taken it to the public as Robin has. They're on my website, and the others, some are working at becoming more in the public, and I expect there'll be probably another 5 or 6 or so fairly soon. I think bottom line, about a third of those that I deal with have chosen to take it to the public. A few more might, probably will, but they don't have to. I think it's important for them to understand that they're shining their light just by channeling. They're opening themselves up, they're expanding, they're growing, and their light is shining brighter. Now, a lot of them are doing it for friends, trusted friends, and maybe a few family members and that sort of thing. So they're still, getting the word out a little bit.
Yep. I think that's important what you just said about them being a shining light, because I think Athena has talked about, just the power of one and how much influence you have when you are aligned to your source. And so I think with what you just said there, even if they are not publicly assisting others, the fact that they are in the place that they are at and they are emanating at, they are affecting so many people in their close circles, and that's helping to ripple out and expand consciousness, even if they aren't working publicly. So I think the private ones are just as beneficial. Would you agree?
Um, well, just as beneficial, you might argue that.
Yeah.
If
Well, not reaching the
you-
masses as much might be.
Yeah, but quite beneficial, yes. Just developing a higher vibration for themselves, that spreads to others
Yes.
and to humanity in general, and maybe the universe. Athena could kind of comment on that. It can go pretty far, I guess.
Yeah, Athena, what are your thoughts on that?
The vibration that one holds, yes, is something that a human can choose to match or to align to. Let's use that term, yes. So as one elevates in their consciousness and as they begin to vibrate at this higher rate, whether they are in fact publicly channeling or they are just working on themselves and rising in their vibratory level, as they go out into the public, they are actually activators or lifters, let's use that term, of the vibratory levels of those that they are coming into contact with, no words being spread. We are downloading a block of communication. It's not words, it is energetic transmission of information. And then Robin chooses the words, she doesn't even know it, yes, to fit what it is that we are wanting to communicate today. So why couldn't that energy communicate on its own? It can, you see, and it is, we would tell you. So anyone that has this focus, anyone that has this desire, anyone like Peter that is supporting this desire is actually lifting humanity, is actually assisting humanity. And we are grateful for the service because we know that one in connection, as we have told you, Heidi, has the power to change. We can't even put a number on it. It goes so far back into your lineage and so far forward that there is no description that we can use for the numbers that would be covered by one that is elevated in their consciousness or opening their energy centers. So we are hats off, yes, to you, Peter, for participating during this important time of rising in consciousness. It is an important part or role that you play. People need to be empowered of what they are capable of as a human. They need to know that they have a desire, they can create it, that they can attach to and make happen what it is that they want to make happen. And sometimes they need a tool or someone like Peter that can hold them in that tone of belief and wonder and magic and desire and worthiness even for what it is that they want to create, you see.
Yeah, that's awesome. Peter, is there anything that you would like our listeners to know about either what you do or what you're looking forward to doing? Is there any messages that you'd have that you'd like us to have shared today?
Well, I think my mission is maybe threefold. One, to assist people to become channelers.
Mm-hmm.
Two, to assist channelers to develop their talents, take it to the public if they wish. And three, to disseminate information. And I do the latter through a newsletter, website, giving talks, showing up on shows such as this.
Yeah.
So those are the three things that I do. My website talks about them, and I'm certainly willing to have a chat with anyone who would like to explore their development further.
Yeah. So if someone would like to get a hold of you, why don't you share with our listeners how they could get a hold of you, your website, any other contact information?
Sure. The website is peterhdennis.com, and two N's in Dennis, and don't forget the H.
Mm-hmm.
And you can reach me, Peter at peterhdennis.com.
Okay. All right. Well, we really appreciate you coming on and chatting with us today. One final thought that we wanted to share with listeners is Robin and I have officially come up with the month of July to start the course that we've been working on. We've been talking to listeners for a while about the upcoming course, and now we can say that it'll be July. We don't have a specific date in July, but just if anybody's interested to know that it will be occurring then, and we'll have more information coming out about dates and times soon.
We will be posting that on the website prior
Yes.
to July. Heidi, yes, we will
Yes.
soon be arriving at a time or a date that will be on the website so people can get signed up for it, even though it won't be until July. Yes. We also want to remind you that we have this weekly YouTube. You are free to submit questions that you would like to have answered. We are willing to do that for people. We also have a regular podcast that goes out with a lot of information that is helpful to people that you can use as well. If you have any questions about that, you may do same. You can pose a question to Heidi at athenaandtruth.com. And further, our book called Choose Your Universe, An Exercise in Freedom is now out at Amazon. It is available in all formats. For you to listen to, yes. And this is really what we're basing the course on. The first course is going to be about the fundamentals of creation, and we're really going to dig deep inside of each human and discover what it is that is stored within them that is of a creative value, why they have what they have in their life, whether they are liking it or not liking it, yes. And so we're going to use this opportunity to really do a lot of very personal one-on-one exchanges. It will be an interactive course where there will be a lot of channeling, and Heidi will be the mediator of it, yes. So we really look forward to the opportunity to assisting you in the rise of your consciousness and in the creation of the life that you intended to have when you came here.
Yes.
I would add, Heidi, that if you
Yeah.
send me the information, I'll be happy to put it in my newsletter.
That sounds great, Peter. Thank you.
We are most grateful.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. We'll talk again next week.
Yes. Well, thank you, ladies, all of you.